All right, since a lot of people struggled on this homework, I'm just going to do a video going over how I would do it. The first three problems are all substitution. The last three problems are all elimination, and they tell you that usually you have to decide for yourself. Number one, y equals x minus 7. 2x plus y equals 8. This is definitely not elimination because it's not lined up. Nothing matches. So you can't do elimination. Another reason it's good for substitution is because it already says y equals. Once you see that, you can substitute. Well, we know that y equals x minus 7, and in the other equation, there's a y. So let's substitute. 2x plus, and now instead of the letter y, we're going to substitute x minus 7 equals 8. Now it's always important to remember our equation solving rules. 2x plus x, they're next to each other, combine like terms. Add 7 to both sides. 3x equals 15. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 5. We're not done. You need to substitute back into one of the original equations. I think this one's the easiest. Y equals 5 minus 7. Y equals negative 2. So our answer, 5 comma negative 2. Number 2. Solve it using substitution. Y equals 3x minus 6. So we know that y equals 3x minus 6, and in the other equation there's a y. So let's substitute into the second equation. So negative 3x plus, now we'll substitute, 3x minus 6 equals negative 6. Combine like terms, since they're on the same side of the equation. Negative 3x plus 3x. Well, let's see. Negative 3x plus 3x, they cancel out. They're inverses of each other. So that leaves us with negative 6 equals negative 6, which, if you remember, means that there are infinitely, I don't know what's going on with this marker, infinitely many solutions. Think about what that means. If I was to graph both of these lines, they would just fall right on top of each other. So they're the same exact line. Or if I substitute any coordinate into the equations, it'll work for both. So any coordinate that works for one equation also works for the other one. Okay, number 3, this is the type of substitution problem that we started with that you guys are the most used to. If they're both equal to y, you can set them equal to each other by doing substitution. Minus 2x from both sides. 7 equals 3x plus 4. Minus 4 from both sides. 3 equals 3x. X equals 1. Once you have that, pick an equation, substitute it in, and you see that y equals 9. 1 comma 9. Okay, on to the back. Number 4, using elimination. So 3x minus 2y equals 0, x plus y equals negative 5. This is a perfect candidate for elimination because everything is lined up. The x's, the y's, the equal sign, and the numbers. Everything is lined up perfectly, so we know we're doing elimination. But if I add the two equations together or subtract them right now, nothing will eliminate because they don't match yet. So I need to multiply the bottom equation by something to make them match. If I want to make the x's match, I need to multiply by 3. If I want to make the y's match, I need to multiply by 2. Both of them will work. I'll show you both ways. So let's start with 3. So I'm going to rewrite both equations off to the side so that I don't mess up. 3x minus 2y equals 0. 3x plus 3y equals negative 15. One of the big mistakes that people are making are they're forgetting to multiply the number by 3 also. Now we have a 3x and a 3x. That tells me that I want to subtract. So 3x minus 3x cancels. Negative 2y minus 3y is negative 5y. And 0 minus negative 15 is a positive 15. So you got to be careful with that. Divide both sides by negative 5. Y equals negative 3. Now, let's imagine that instead of multiplying by 3, we multiplied it by 2. So the first equation stays the same. And the second equation would be 2x plus 2y equals negative 10. Since we have a negative 2y and a positive 2y, the signs are opposite. You add big plus sign out in front. 5x equals negative 10. X equals negative 2 for an answer of negative 2 comma negative 3. Now, if you did it this way, where you multiplied by 3 and then solved, once you have the y value, you substitute back into the original equation to get the x value. If you did it this way, where you multiplied by 2, once you get the x value, then you go back to the original equation and figure out what the y value is. All right, number 5, elimination. Again, everything is lined up perfectly, including the equal sign. But nothing will eliminate yet, so I need to multiply the bottom equation by something. The y's look like they'll be a little tricky because you can't multiply 3 by a whole number to get 4. So we'll leave those alone. I can multiply x by 2, and that will give me a 2x. So I'll rewrite the equations. 2x plus 4y equals negative 6. 2x minus 6y equals 14. Again, you need to do the 7 times 2. I noticed that we have a positive 2x and a positive 2x. That means we're going to subtract. Big subtraction sign out in front. So let's subtract. 2x minus 2x cancels. 4y minus negative 6y is 10y. Negative 6 minus 14 is negative 20. Y equals negative 2. Substitute in. Let's use the either equation. Let's use the first one. 2x plus 4 times negative 2 equals negative 6. 2x minus 8 equals negative 6. 2x equals 2. X equals 1. So be careful here. When you do 4 times negative 2, don't write plus negative 8 because you're not going to know what to do with that. Write minus 8. It makes more sense. So our answer is 1 comma negative 2. Make sure you put it in the correct order. The x comes first. And the last one, we want to do elimination. So I have 2 choices. I can either multiply the top equation by 2 because that'll match up the x's, or I can multiply the bottom equation by 5 because that'll match up the y's. Since I noticed the x's first, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. 4x plus 10y equals negative 12. 4x plus y equals negative 12. We need to subtract because it's 4x and 4x. And I subtract. 10 minus y is 9y. Negative 12 minus negative 12 is 0. Divide both sides by 9. Y equals 0. Once you have that, substitute in. 4x plus 0 equals negative 12. 4x equals negative 12. X equals negative 3. Negative 3, comma, 0. All right, if you have questions on elimination, Google it. I promise you a million things come up, a million videos, some good stuff. Otherwise, email me, mrzuckerbrow@gmail.com. Goes right to my phone, so I will answer. Test on Thursday. Good luck.